Hello you, and welcome back to Let's Play Kerbal Space Program. My name is Satchmo. This is episode 18. Today we're going to the lonely Duna moon of Eik. Go ahead and open up that Duna lander that I made. And we're going to make a small adjustment because I like to do something different every episode if I can. And instead of just going back to the same planet that we already did, Duna is what I'm referencing. Let's do something else and make this mission, really try to get some bang for our buck with this mission. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some satellites up there, some communication satellites, and let's see where we are. There we are. And so we'll be preparing ourselves for the future because right now all of our satellites are in Kerbin's SOI, so I'll like some out there in deeper space so we can start flying unmanned missions out there if we want to. So to that end, all I'm doing is attaching to the side of our rocket some fuel, battery, and a probodobodine. Let's see, an engine. A Terrier sounds good. And then we'll do some communication that I actually don't have with me right now. So we're going to go to R&D and pick up another node. We're going to call this the Eik lander, and we're going to say lands on Eik plus relay deployer. There we go. And we will save this craft. And let's go to R&D and pick up another relay antenna. So let's see. Here we are under electronics. We have a couple. We also have the seismic accelerometer, which gives us some scientific data. So that's cool. Grab that. I think this has to be. Let's see, real quick. Yeah, it says when properly settled on a firm surface. So I think you have to be landed to do that one. It's been a long time since I've used that one, actually. And we're going to grab this node as well. Actually, we're not. We don't need to bother with this stuff right now. We'll just grab that one node that I got, the electronics node. Let's go back to the VAB. I could have done this first. I just forgot. And let's stick that one right on top. There we go. Double that up. And we'll notice that it kind of clips into the ship. And I'm not a huge fan of that, although I'm not a huge fan of rotating this over like this either. I think it is the better of the two options. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to kind of settle it in like that. That's fine. We're never going to look at these anyway. So there we go. These are our new satellites, right? It just has, oh, missing something. Solar panels. There we go, there. And there. Same on the other side. There and there, and then we should have them on the other side as well. Yes, there we go. Okay, so it can generate power, it can store power, it can be flown, right? It has fuel and an engine, and other than that, it has a relay antenna on it, and a pretty strong relay antenna at that as well. And let's go big, and let's bring 4 of these up there. And I have places along the path that I actually want to deploy these. But anyway, now we will see the beginnings of our kind of interplanetary relay network coming together. So there we go, and we'll go ahead and save this craft, and we will leave VAB. We're done building our ship for now. I might want to check the staging. In fact, I am going to be checking the staging. I'll do that on Launchpad though. I'm pretty sure when you add those relays on there, it's going to mess up the staging. So we will be careful to do that. Anyway, we're going to go from Kerbin at 100 kilometer orbit to Duna. We cannot go to the moon here, but we can go to Duna and then grab the moon once we're there. And I'll leave this alone at 100 as well, and we'll plot it. And we'll see that we have the departure date of year 20, day 346. And if we toggle details over here, we see that the prograde is 1072 and the normal is 113. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to fast forward to year 20, day 345, 344-ish. That'll give us enough time. That'll give us like a full day to actually get up there, launch, circularize, and then wait for that maneuver to hit. So, at any rate, I will see you in a year and a half. All right, we are day 346, a couple minutes in. That kind of granularity doesn't really matter. I'm just going to find the back of the of the planet's orbit. So look to the left side of the screen here, and that's where I'm going to start. Right there. That's where I'm going to start playing this maneuver. And we're going to click on. There we go. We'll click right there, and we're going to add 1072 of prograde. It'd be kind of cool if we could just type this in. You can't do that, can you? Oh my god. Oh, you can type it in. I seriously did not know that until just now. I just had the idea how cool that would be. And the devs had the idea before I did. How cool is that? Oh, I love that so much. I had no idea you could do that. So there we go. Just click in there and type them in and press enter. Wow, neat. Very impressive. I mean, it's kind of an obvious feature, but I don't know. I didn't realize it was in the game. Set that as target. I'm just chuffed. I thought that was pretty cool. Click on that, and now we're just going to move the orbit around until we get our encounter. It'll just be the same as last time. There we go. Didn't take long at all. Out of curiosity, where is this with respect to the planet? How far off the thing was I? Okay, so a little bit to the right of that, I mean, assuming this line is accurate. I'm trying to show you. There we go. This orbital line right here. Assuming that's actually the rear of the thing. That's that. Now, I accidentally rolled over the, I was using my mouse wheel and I rolled over the thing here, which actually changes it. So let me just put that back. Back at 113. No, I said back at 113. There we go. And just confirm that I'm actually getting the, yes I am getting the intercept. So there we go. Very, very neat. Switch over to our maneuver. We are 22 minutes away. It's a nice long burn time of 3 minutes and 3 seconds. So, we've all seen this before. I'm just going to go ahead and warp through all this. So I'll see you after we get our intercept. And there we go. I got an intercept with the planet, and we're going to wrap right around it. I will be changing this orbit to see if I can get an Ike intercept, but I figured as close as I get to doing the better for the time being. And yeah, I'm very happy with that. So now the first thing we're going to do is you'll see that what I actually have here is going to be a let's see, how high up is this? 176. Okay. So on my current trajectory, if I didn't do anything at all, I would fly out, leave Kerbin's SOI, encounter Duna's SOI, and fly by the planet, kind of behind the planet too, gaining a little bit of altitude, and but not hitting the atmosphere of Duna. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and point normal. We are unfortunately on the other side of the planet. Let me time warp to where we're get some sun so we can see. There we go. Now I'm going to point normal, and I'm going to take one of these rockets, or one of these satellites rather, and I'm going to decouple. I wish I could adjust the decoupling, but I can't. So 1, 2, 3, fling, and we're going to switch to it real quick. SAS is on, so it should kind of steady out, but there we go. I'll point it at the normal vector as well, and rotate him around just because I prefer it that way. For some reason these, oh yeah, that's right, because it's on backwards. This Probodobanine's upside down, so it looks like it's upside down even though the satellite's pointing up. It doesn't matter. Anyway, there he is out in space, and he will eventually We don't know yet because we don't have it enabled to see that far into the future, but he will eventually come and do exactly what I said. He'll fly by Duna, he'll pick up a little bit of speed, and he will be flung kind of in this highly elliptical orbit around Kerbal. And that's where he will live. So that is our first satellite down. Now, the thing to consider about this, I'm going to go ahead and time warp a little bit while we're talking. The thing to consider about that is that, oh wait, hold on. Stop. Switch back to my craft. Oh man, I'm too far away. I meant to switch back before I did the time warp. Let's go back to the Space Center and select our craft. Minor frustration, but nothing too big. Tracking station, Anchor fly that. There we go. I meant to switch back before I did time warp, but whatever. The thing to consider about that is that in his orbit, he's kind of in an unguided orbit now. Of course, I can change it in the future, and I have plenty of LTV on him to change if I need to. But as it is, he's kind of on a path that will likely give him encounters in the future with Duna again. So it's very possible that he will fly out and he will hit Duna again, or he'll hit Kerbal and be sucked up by their gravity and crash, or become deorbited, or be flung into a different orbit. So, and that will happen just kind of while I'm time warping in the background sometime. I'll be waiting for a flight thing to happen, and in that satellite will interact with some planet and do something kind of funky. There's a chance that will happen. That's just just the chance we're going to take. I might later on after this fine-tune these orbits, because again, since I gave them all fuel, I might take all these crafts and kind of fine-tune these orbits, since I can switch to them and fly them around. But as it is, if I just fling one out there, he might get sucked up by some planet's gravity, and that's just something you have to be aware of, is all I'm trying to say. Let's focus our view on Duna, set up a maneuver sometime midway, and here. Let's actually set Ike as our target. And let's see what we can do to get an intercept with Ike. So a little bit of retrograde is getting us pretty close. Excuse me. A little bit of... Oh, there we go. That was easy. A little bit of anti-normal. A little bit more retrograde. Okay, I'm going to use the thing here because now we're getting it's too finicky. Let's see. Turn down the granularity a little bit. It's a retrograde. There we go. Let's focus view on Ike. Okay. Oh, and now we get to see those places they want us to do our stuff. Oops, wrong button. Select that. And that's fine. Not that. That's fine. 41 kilometers up. Oh yeah, those are spread all over the planet. It's pretty tempting. I don't know if it's in the budget to actually fly and do all those. I might have to do these some other time. We'll see. If I can get one or two of them, I might try to. But at any rate, here we go. We have an intercept with Ike here at 41 kilometers, and that is well enough for me. Let's go ahead and switch over to our maneuver. We have plenty of electric charge in this thing. We have 980. That's not as much as I thought, actually, but it's still a really good amount. So I don't really have to worry about that. And we're going to switch back to our craft, reduce the thrust limiter, because we have a burn time of 0.2 seconds, and that's just untenable for a human being to have to do. So we're going to reduce the thrust all the way down, and come back to this view and warp until our maneuver. See you then. There we go. Very happy with that. Just comes in and lands almost exactly where I wanted it to. Very happy with that. One thing I want to talk about while I'm warping there, I can use this opportunity to talk about this whilst I'm warping. Let's go ahead. I can only warp to the next SOI, so we'll go ahead and warp in there. When you're designing your ship, it oftentimes helps, again, trying to use realism here, it oftentimes helps to plan your stages out and think about what job they're actually going to do. So your first stage is typically your orbital stage. It's a stage that's going to get you off of Kerbal and into an orbit. And if that's all that first stage does, then that's fine typically. Then you have your interstage, your middle stage, which is typically a transfer stage. And that stage should do all of the things that actually transfers you from Kerbin's orbit to the orbit, or to the SOI of the planet that you're going to. So far, both of the things have happened, right? That first stage got us a little bit of fuel to get out of Kerbin's SOI, but not enough. We switched over to that transfer stage, and now we are transferring to Ike with this second inner stage here, the one right here. And then I have this top stage here, which is actually going to be our return stage and any things that we're actually going to do on the planet. So when you're building your craft and you're actually planning these things out, it helps to think about that, right? It helps to think about how much Delta V do I need in each of the kind of legs of the mission, and likewise, are they kind of allocated to the correct stage, to the stage that I actually want to do them on? Just something to think about. So here we go. I can just grab myself an orbit. Any kind of orbit right now is fine. It's going to take 810 meters a second total. About a third of that, maybe a little less than a third, 2/5 maybe, is going to be on that upper stage. So let's go ahead and point to our maneuver, and I'll complete our circularization of Ike, which is also where we will deploy our second satellite. Right, so while I'm here, kill that engine, just burn retrograde. I'm actually going to go ahead and do my deorbit burn right now. So I'm landing on the light side of the planet. So let me go ahead and fire up those engines, and to see if we can get a periapsis somewhere on the other side of the planet. Maybe on this area right here. Now, it is kind of hard to find. Stop. A little bit more than that. Don't want to be too wasteful. I think I'd like to land right here. I think this is a good landing zone. Bump it out a little bit. There we go. And I'll actually do my deorbit right here somewhere. But go ahead and quick save. This planet, for me, for some reason, is really hard to land on, because it's hard for me to find a good place to that's flat. It's pretty frustrating. So I have had problems in the past with that. 1,555 meters a second of fuel. Something else to consider here is that this will only go up as we release these satellites, which of course I am going to do right now. Let's go ahead and take this one off. Doink. Let's switch to it. And let's get him in a position that I like. Pointing anti-normal. So he is right side up. Just ensuring that we're getting all of that delicious sunlight. Right there. So now we have a satellite orbiting the sun and a satellite orbiting Ike. Very neat. Let's switch back. And let's point retrograde. I'm going to quick save again here. Might be a good place to Ooh! Something I didn't consider is that I meant to launch that satellite before I did my deorbit burn. So yeah, that satellite will burn to the ground in its current state. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of orbital out, assuming that the orbital out is actually correct in this craft. Let's fire up the engines. Periapsis of 7. Now, because the satellite or the radar dish on top is canted, the craft naturally wants to kind of spin, so I'm just going to have to kind of baby a little bit. Just get a little bit of thrust so I can counteract that with the torque of the command module. Anyway, we're just going to do a radial out to kind of hula hoop. There we go. Our apoapsis. So 28 and 14 I think is high enough to not hit the planet. Maybe we'll go a little bit higher. And there. And then a little bit prograde as well. Yeah, they're not the most stable craft, but we're not supposed to be using them to actually fly around. We're supposed to be making kind of small adjustments with it. So prograde. Okay. 25 and 19. There we go. My mistake. Totally meant to do that earlier. And I didn't, so there we go. Now he's ready for his mission. So now let's come back here. We'll point retrograde. We'll lower the landing gear. And we will look for a suitable spot to land. Now we will do a quick save. So if I have to revert, I don't forget to do the satellite. I think this area might be flat. When I tried this in testing, I did it in the lowlands over here, these dark patches, and I just had a hell of a time. So I'm trying these light areas, and I think that'll be a little bit better for me. Kind of hard to tell. Maybe we'll be okay over here. Let's just fire it up and see. And this is a kind of mountainous area. Switch to surface mode as well. Yeah, I think over here. That's where I want. See if we can get a little closer. It's just going to be kind of risky, but I think I'm not going too fast. Right here is where I want it. Let's go ahead and start burning. And let's dip down, try to kill that horizontal speed. Up here you can see the horizontal speed. It's also reflected right here, but if you look up here, it splits the vertical speed and horizontal speed into its individual components. So for me, it's a little bit easier to kind of see exactly what's happening using these numbers than it is just to use this. Yeah, this looks like a good landing zone. I'm happy with this. Kill that. And okay, let's go ahead and point retrograde. I don't like to hold retrograde on while I'm actually landing, because if you bump the ground, your retrograde flips over, right? Because now you're going upwards, and the craft will naturally try to follow that, and I don't like that. I'm also going to turn into an orientation that I like for launch, just so that when I go to launch, I'm already happy with my orientation. And do a couple of slowing burns here, getting closer, about 100 meters we'll start burning. And then we'll use our controlled descent here. It's a little bit inefficient with the fuel, but it is kind of safe. Kill it. And oh, get over there. Get over there. Oh man, hold it on. Hold it. Alright, revert. Okay, now after several attempts of trying to do this, I think I've realized something, and I'm going to show you. Every time I hit the ground, it's just very, very spongy, and I keep bouncing. And I think what's happening here, because I'm landing at like 2 meters a second, like I'm having a very, very controlled descent, but I keep bouncing and flipping out. And what I think is happening is because these satellites are relatively high on the craft, the center of gravity is really high, so whenever it bounces, I just don't have the reaction. I don't have the control authority to keep it upright. However, I've realized something, and I'm going to demonstrate it to you. First of all, landing somewhere flat is going to be key. If I can find somewhere flat. Just killing my horizontal velocity right now. There we go. Overshot it by a little bit. This craft has monopropellant built in, so I'm going to turn on SAS. And this will give me some control to the top of the vehicle, which is where, when you're flipping out, which is typically where you want a little bit of extra control. So I think by turning on my SAS, I'm going to stop all that flipping out that's happening due to all the bouncing and stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and kill some of this for velocity. And and kill some more. And then we'll get down to about 100. We'll do our final burn. There we go. And then do a nice controlled burn. I want that maybe around 4 or 3. There it is. Okay, yes. Maybe. Help me out, monopropellant. Help me out. He's trying so hard to flip over. There we go. Yes. Turning on turning on RCS helped keep the thing stable. I think it's because it's high center of mass that I have because of this. If I had a reaction wheel on here, it wouldn't be a problem, but my reaction wheel got jettisoned with the inner stage. And so yeah, as a result, even though this isn't a terrible incline, and I was going really, really slowly, I just kept bouncing and then flipping over. And I think it's because I'm kind of having this like seesaw effect with these top things. Anyway, maybe a tip for you and a tip for me: turn on your RCS if you have it, especially if it's at the top of your vehicle or on the other side of the center of mass, and it can help you orient yourself. At any rate, we have done it. We have landed on Ike. Do we get to see Duna? Because it's really impressive to see Duna. Maybe that's the sun. Maybe we'll see Duna in a minute. It's really kind of cool to see Duna from Ike. I actually really enjoy that. At any rate, let's go ahead and grab up all of our science. So we'll grab all the science we have. Here, crew report, temperature scan, pressure scan, goo, material studies. I forgot to put on that gravitron, not the gravitron, the seismometer thing. Oh, no big deal. Open those up. And let's hop our scientist out. Here we go. Bob can do the EVA and the surface sample. Climb down and reset what needs to be reset. Collect the data. Restore. Collect the data. Restore. Okay. Let's close these doors. And let's just fly down to the surface. Oh, EVA report while in space. I'll go ahead and throw those back in the thing. And do that momentarily. Let's go ahead and walk over here a little bit and plant a flag. And as per usual, just call it LZ1 to mark that this is the first place that we landed. If ever it becomes important that we come back here, and say, I'm with Ike. A little bit of a old political joke there. Alright, hop up. And hey, grab onto that. Let's open these back up. And let's see. There we go. Oh, can't click it from here. That's fine. Close those, hop back inside. Board this. And we'll do it on the way up. We'll do an EVA once we get up there. So anyway, as per usual, we're just going to go home. We're going to go home the same way we came here, which is by going east. We're going to launch and go east. So let's quick save and throttle up and turn over. There we go. Pull up our landing gear and get ourselves an apoapsis of, I don't know, 15, 20? Let's do 20. We have a good little bit of fuel in the tank. I think we're going to be okay. There we go. 20. And this will give us enough time to plan our circularization. Yeah, way too much. There we go. 16, 21, 21. Let's see. Excuse me. There we go. Pretty standard stuff. While on the way up, I'll go ahead and do the EVA report. Oh, hold on. Board. Let's store all the experiments. I think I need to do this to make room for another report. I might not need to. Collect all. There we go. EVA. Do the EVA report. Board. Collect all again. close these doors, and then we'll just check to see if there's anything else that we have while we're up here. No, nothing we haven't already done. So, okay, very cool. And now I'll just perform the circularization. Not much of a circularization, but it's fine. Now all we have to do is plan another maneuver to go home. And I'm just going to kind of estimate these. We're going to say we're coming from Duna at 100. We'll leave it alone. Kerbal at 0. And plot it. These are going to be estimations, but we'll be able to kind of adjust those as appropriate. So I'm going to write these down real quick, and then I'm going to warp to that time. And here we are, day 3, or not day, year 24, day 356. Nice little, I got Ike in the left here, we got Duna, and we have sunrise just over the Duna horizon. Very nice picturesque image. Let's go ahead and set up a maneuver node and see if we can go home now. Actually, before I do that, something else I want to think about. I'm going to turn this craft normal, and we're going to deploy one of these. Yoink. And then we're going to switch to it just to make sure it can hold its heading. I hate switching to a craft that has run out of battery because I had it pointing the wrong way. Super frustrating. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, the center of thrust and the center of mass are off center now, right? Because now the center of mass is probably about here. And the center of thrust is, of course, right here, where this ladder is. So this thing is going to want to torque. I'm going to get some torsion as I'm doing this. And it's pretty frustrating, but it's nothing the craft can't handle. It's just something to keep in mind whenever you're doing this. So anyway, prograde of 625 is what I have written. And normal of negative 45.2. Okay, there we go. Go ahead and set... Now, that was, again, calculated with Duna being 100 kilometers in orbit of Duna, but I'm not. I'm not over here. I'm over here. So this is not going to be perfect. I'm going to have to make some small adjustments. So also keep that in mind. You see I'm burning on the wrong side of the planet because I'm actually gaining altitude. So let's spin it around to the other side and have a look at what that does to it. Let's see. We're going to have to just do some fiddling with this. It's happening again where I can't select the node for some reason. Here we go. Let's roll that. And yeah, I don't know why sometimes I can't open up the graphical maneuver editor. That to me is kind of weird. But let's go ahead and do a little bit more prograde and move it. And that's pretty close. Let's see if there's another place that's a little closer. Oh, that seems to be... There we go. That's the window right there. That's when we want to go. It's just a matter of getting the actual delta V right. And now, of course, you can just go to Duna and do this from Duna if you want to. Just leave Ike, orbit Duna, and try it from there. So many things to click on. Gee whiz. Yeah, this is giving me... That's too much. That's more delta V than I have, so we need to find a more efficient way to do this. Let's see. There's a mod that makes this thing nice and big when you're this far out, and that's a pretty cool mod. Just a little graphical thing for you. The next thing to try here could be some radial. I'm just gonna get as close as I can. And try some radial. That tends to help and not spend too much delta V. Let's get it back down where I actually have the delta V. Okay, so what I had to do was to get an intercept with Kerbal was to speed forward a couple more days the window again, because I'm actually calculating it from Ike, not from Duna, though the window was maybe a little bit wrong. So I did finally get a Kerbal encounter. However, it's costing me 890 Delta V, which is a large share of my budget. So I'm going to see if I can reduce that maybe a little bit. It doesn't appear that I can too much. Let's see. I'm not going to fiddle with it. Yeah, 890. That's just what it is. I'm not going to fiddle with it too much. I think it's 890 for that, and I have 971 in the bank. So the rest of that will be actually just getting myself an intercept with Kerbal, with the Kerbal's atmosphere. So again, to fix this, you can just you can leave Ike and orbit Duna, and then do the calculations from there, and that works just fine. I think I just got unlucky with I think I just got unlucky with the position of these planets. Is what happened. Let me switch over to Duna quick and show you. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm also getting an intercept with Duna. Yeah, that's what's happening too. Is that I'm launching and then immediately getting an intercept with Duna, which is throwing me off. In fact, look, I'm coming around the backside of the planet, so I think I'm actually losing velocity because of Duna. Perhaps another way to do this would be to wait a little bit further into the future as well. But actually, this might be helping me out. At any rate, just a little unfortunate it's going to cost me this much to go home, but that is why we add things into the budget. So I'll go ahead and perform this, and then we'll adjust to see if we can get a capture around Duna, a safe capture around Duna. There we go. That's an intercept with Kerbal. You may have noticed, unless I cut this part out, but I don't think I will, you may have noticed I robbed a little bit of fuel from him just to give myself a little bit of extra, just a little extra margin. And something else too is I'm going to go ahead and decouple him. I can't think of a reason why not to. Let's go ahead and save it just in case. And let's go ahead and decouple him. Again, switch to him, find a good orientation for him to be in. That's fine. And he will be orbiting the moon just like the first one that we deployed, but at a different time, since it's now years in the future. So, we're looking good. Let's just go ahead and warp out of here. So we have to warp out of Ike's SOI into Duna's, go around behind Duna, and out of Duna's SOI, and into the SOI of the Sun. Now I can plan a maneuver to aerobrake on Duna, Kerbal. Let's see, right there we go. I think we're going to try to come in. That's a pretty good intercept already, and it shouldn't take us much to complete this. Excuse me. Take this down, and I'd like to get it. Oh man, that damn moon. Oh, the moon's blocking exactly where I want to be. Oh wait, hold on, we can come around the rear of the planet. Oh, the moon's, that's going to be frustrating. I want an aerobrake, or maybe I need an aerobrake. But look, everywhere close to the planet, the moon is blocking. Let's see if I can come up over the moon. Any way to do that? No, well, you know what? I think what I can do, it's only 4 meters a second. Let's just get close, and we'll just go, we'll just go ahead and hit the moon. We're going to come in behind the moon anyway, so it'll kind of deflect our orbit a little bit closer to Kerbal anyway. If I could predict one more one more node out, then I could actually see where this is going to throw me. But I think this will be fine, just to kind of hit the moon and then come straight towards Kerbal. I think this will be fine. So let's go ahead and perform this, and yeah, let's just see what happens. Okay. Now we get to look at what the moon does to our orbit. Yeah, and indeed, it actually makes us collide with the planet. So we're going to fix that. I'm going to do a maneuver here instead of just fiddling with it. Should be able to do a little bit of a radial out. Yes, and indeed I can. We're going to pick 42 kilometers, because 42 is the answer. There we go. That should be fine. Hop on that maneuver node. And let's warp to an appropriate time. Real quick, hurry up. There, that's fine. I know I passed it up, but with this kind of thing, it shouldn't be a big deal. I have my thrust limiter way down. You guys know I like to turn my thrust limiter down to really fine-tune this stuff. Let's get rid of that and just click on you, just to see. 44 is not the answer, but it might be the answer. Okay. 44 should be pretty good. It's going to come in kind of hot and heavy, and unfortunately I think I'm going to be landing on the dark side of the planet, which I really hate to do, but this does just tend to happen like this. I could have come around the front side of the moon and then reversed all of this and come around the light side of the planet had I thought about it, but I did not. So real quick, let's just check our science. Looks like there's no science that we haven't already got. We've pretty much exhausted all the science we can do in Kerbin's atmosphere, I think, at this point. So the last thing we're going to do is... Where is that confounded planet? There we are. We're going to point retrograde, and we're going to burn off the last little bit of fuel that we have here. As we're coming into the atmosphere, we're going to make sure that our parachute staging is correct, which it is. And then, yeah, we're going to do our typical kind of deorbit thing. We're going to wait until the atmospheric heating really kicks in. There we go. Starting to get that overheat bar because we are coming in very hot. So all the thrust, there we go. Just burn up the rest of whatever fuel we have, of course making our craft lighter and reducing some of the speed in the process. And at this point I'm going to let the engine take kind of the brunt of this real quick, but I will probably decouple it, and this heat shield will protect us the rest of the way. I know this is a very hot re-entry, but I think we're actually going to be okay. And also, it's going to ensure that we do have a capture. Since I have no more fuel to burn, it is imperative that I let the planet capture me here. Otherwise, we will just be flung back out in space, and I will be going on a rescue mission in the next episode. So, to avoid rescue missions, we're going to make sure that we get captured. And yeah, I am dipping really low into the atmosphere to do this, but I'm pretty sure I have a craft that can take it. So let's find out. Right, so yeah, we survived that initial skim of the planet's surface, and we are not in a complete capture yet. We still have a pretty high apoapsis, but that works fine for me. I'll take this, and I will... Let's see if I can just fling that guy out into the atmosphere. Oh, no. No! I activated my chutes instead of doing a decouple. I had my decouple on the wrong stage. I think... I don't think they will deploy until they're ready. So we'll see what happens there. Yep, check your staging. Anyway, let's go ahead and... Oh man, come on. I said just activate everything. I'm really trying to fling this thing off. There we go. Just kept activating more and more stuff. I don't think they'll deploy until they're ready to anyway. So let's go ahead and fly around the planet. And the next re-entry, or the next entry rather, should be fine. We should have a nice re-entry. There we go. Yeah, the chutes shouldn't deploy until they have until they're at their correct altitude. Now, if you're at that altitude and going too fast, they will deploy and brake, but I don't think I have to worry about them deploying and braking now. So, even though they are armed. And here we go, apparatus is going down rather quickly, and just in no time, there we are. Now we are in a complete capture. There we go, the camera flies over to show us. And unfortunately, because I'm a bad YouTuber, we are landing on the dark side of the planet where you can't see anything. But the craft doesn't seem to be bothered by this re-entry at all. We still have plenty of ablator. And yeah, we are slowing down to a comfortable speed. I mean, we're still at like launch velocity, but we are... it will be a comfortable speed shortly. There we go. Drones pop, and the rest of them pop as well. Let's see if we can see anything at all. No, not really. So there we go. That was a mission to... Well, I don't want to count my chickens where they hatch. I still have to land this thing, but I think it'd be okay. That was a mission to Ike. We landed on it, and we got some science, and we returned home. We'll see how the Kerbans fare in terms of experience. I want to say they'll all be level 4 by the end of this. Something I am focusing on this run is making sure that all my Kerbals are leveled up, and I can do all the things. These right here, especially for pilots, are just super helpful to have. I really enjoy having these, so leveling up your pilots pretty early is important. But being able to repack parachutes and reset science and stuff with the scientists and the engineers is also incredibly important. So, yeah, don't neglect to be leveling up your Kerbalonauts when you're out there doing your stuff. Anyway, this was a fun mission. I always enjoy going out to Ike. Bit of a challenge. I think what happened, because you see that my margins were really thin. Although Ike should have taken less Delta V than Duna, I think I actually returned to Kerbin with less Delta V than I did when I came back from Duna. And I think the reason for that was when I put those satellites up there, I neglected to take into account that the Delta V calculations were calculating the Delta V of those satellites. I'm pretty sure it was calculating the total Delta V for the craft. I may be wrong about that, but it seems to me like I should not have spent this much fuel coming back home. But I did for some reason. Oh, why am I not time warping? At any rate, I did have it within the budget. As always, I over budget and over engineer, and this is exactly why. Because sometimes I guess things go a little bit wrong. I mean, it was a complete mission success, but I would like to have had a little bit more fuel in the tank when I returned home. So, at any rate, get ourselves a nice comfortable splashdown. Very cool. Any science from over here? Surface sample in the water. Nice. How about Bill? You do it. And take surface sample. 12 more science. Hop back in. Go home. Okay. 927 science, almost another grand. We're up to 6523. That's pretty good. I'm not expecting to get a whole lot of money back. Let's see. 7,300. That's fine. Oh wow, I have 5 million. That's okay. So yeah, we're making money, and everybody went up to level 4. Fantastic, very cool. The last thing we're going to do this episode, it's something I didn't mention. We now have. Let's zoom out here. Look, we now have relay satellites out and about. We have this one, which right now is unfortunately being blocked by the sun, it appears. But we do have one right there. We have, let's see. Let's just click to them. So that was that one. And then we have one around Ike. We have this one around Ike. We have the one next to it around Ike. And then we have this one. What is he doing? Oh, he's on a collision course for the planet. I think. Let's just find out. Let's just see if he crashes into the planet. Nope, he's going to pass by the planet. Okay. So yeah, he did have an intercept with Kerbin, but now he's back in the SOI of the sun. So there we go. So now we have 2 of them orbiting the sun, and 2 of them around Duna. But what I wanted to do is I don't want both of them to be around Ike over here. I wanted one of them to be around Duna, so I'm going to take one of these guys and fly them. Hopefully it's the one with more fuel than the other. Remember, one of these I think I robbed the fuel from. And all I'm going to do is adjust, let's see, throttle down. There we go. All I'm going to do here is send this guy out of Ike's SOI and into the SOI of Duna, so that way we have 1 around Ike, 1 around Duna, and 2 around the sun. And that should give us a nice little network, at least to start with, so we can start sending some unmanned stuff up here, which we will be doing shortly. So let's go ahead and... Oh! Too aggressive with the burn. Remember, with that satellite being canted like it is, it's going to be tough to... it's going to be tough to actually do any kind of thrusting. And... let's go back. Reduce that. There. This is enough thrust where the reaction wheels can kind of keep it under control. Don't need a lot, just need a little bit. Just to make minor small minor adjustments is what I was trying to say. So let's just leave Ike's SOI. Eventually. Okay, and there we go. I'll leave Ike's SOI and then go into a nice little orbit of Duna. And an orbit that I don't think will interfere with Duna again, with Ike again. It may. You know, just to be sure. Let's go ahead and fly out. And fly to the periapsis. And there we go. And we'll reduce this periapsis just a little bit, just to make sure we don't reconnect with Ike and in recapture. I want to make sure this guy is actually in orbit of Duna. I'd prefer him to be in a higher orbit, but we're just going to roll with what we have. And let's just do this kind of visually. I think we're going to go with that. That looks fine to me. There we go. So yeah, very exciting mission for me. Not only to get to land on Duna, get all the science in return, level up all of the Kerbonauts, but to also get 4 relay satellites in orbit, 2 around the sun, 1 around Duna, and 1 around Ike. That, to me, is a pretty big mission. The margins were thin, and had some trouble landing, but at the end of the day, everything turned out okay, and for me, that is a successful mission. So, thank you guys for joining me, really appreciate it. Let me know about the feedback on this video. Give me some feedback on this video. Let me know how you like it. I think I'm going to try to do this kind of hybrid thing where I edit out the parts that we've already seen, or speed through the parts we've already seen, but I still provide live commentary and kind of do the thing in one sitting and in one take. Hopefully this is kind of a good method that satisfies, what everybody wants. Thanks again. If I ramble on too much longer, you'll click away. So thanks again. Hope you like, comment, subscribe. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.